My name is Sylvanus Okpala, MON, Member Order of the Niger, OON, Officer Order of the Niger. Formerly of the one of the best clubs in Africa, the Rangers International. The famous Rangers International was a player from there. A former ex, what you call today under 20. They call us Flying Eagles then. They call us Junior Eagles, but it's still under 20. I was the first captain of under 20. I joined Rangers from secondary school. I was in secondary school playing for Rangers. I was in secondary school, joined the national team, the then Green Eagles. So I was national team playing for Rangers, joined the Green Eagles. The first captain of under 20. Also former captain of the then Green Eagles in 1988 Seoul Olympics in Seoul in South Korea. A former overseas Nigerian professional player, one of those who started the exodus of Nigerian players to Europe in 1982, precisely Portugal. I played for Maritimo, I played for Union, I played for Nacional. They call it Nacional, Union, and then Maritimo. I think only the two clubs are still in the Premier League in Portugal, Maritimo and the Nacional. Former coach, no, not former coach, but coach. I'm still a coach. I would say I'm trying to say former Green Eagles assistant coach to Stephen Keshi. I won the Nations Cup as a player in 1980, a young man of 1920. And I won it as a coach in 2013. Played in 2 Olympic Games for Nigeria, 1980 in Moscow and 1988 in Seoul. No, then, the national team was made up of predominantly those playing in Nigeria. Nobody. It's only in 1981, Tunji Banjo, then John Chidozie, only 2 came in and joined us for the World Cup qualifier against 82 World Cup. But before then, it was predominantly. Then, those days, those who play football are those who are talented. Those who are talented. Those who want to play football. Those who want to use football as... they love the game. They have passion for it. Do you understand me? So it's different now. We have good players, talented players, with very skillful players. Like for me now, the free kick has been played today, covering over the wall. When there's a wall, defensive wall, you cover over. In 1979, 80, I was playing it here in Nigeria. In Europe, they were not playing it. The only place they played that kind of free kicks was in Brazil, where Zico, Elder, Junior, and so on. Then in South America, you have Pacelera and Co playing the same. That's where we learned when I went to Brazil, because I have the ability. So I was playing the free kick, scoring goals here in Nigeria by 70, 80. Later followed by one Ayo. What's his name again? Very good too. He joined, So I was playing the free kick. But when I got to Europe in 1982, the Europeans were not used to that kind of free kick, because most of the players in Brazil were playing in Brazil. Argentina were playing in Argentina. Only few of them were in Italy. They were not scattered as you see the Brazilians and Argentines today. No, only few, about 1 or 2. Do you understand me? So football then, talented. But I should say, what I would say now is that because the world has become a global village, the people who went outside, because you may be playing this football without understanding the meaning of the game. Do you understand me? So you'll be playing football, but you do not know the meaning of the game. When you know the meaning of the game is when you lose position of the ball. What do I do? I'm in position of the ball. What do we do? I'm not in position of the ball. Where do I run to? Where do I take my position? Then we're not in position of law. Where do I go back to stay defensively? Form a defensive network. So, but these guys now, they are playing in Europe. The world has become a global village. Those days when you're playing the Europeans, you know, they used to give us 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and so on. It's not the same now because virtually everybody is buying from the same market. They are buying where we are buying. What I mean is that the same training the Europeans or the South Americans were receiving is the same thing. And we watch football on television every day. That is proved the game too. During our time now, how do we don't the television, how do we watch? Even World Cup matches are being transmitted live after they have played. It was, I think, in 1981 we started seeing match live. But before then, there was no matches live on television, you know, replayed and so on. I think Africa, it's the same football, but the football we play here is the same football they play abroad. The only difference here is that they play it with a different mentality, in a different atmosphere, in a different organized society, in a different management of the game. That's the only difference. But the game we played here is the same game. If you watch African, football is like dancing. Football is like dancing, and Africans are playing exciting football because you don't teach any African how to dance, even small kids. You see them making their body like this, swinging their body without teaching them. But Europeans, they are stiff, standing and dancing, except they go to learn it. But if you see an European that has it, the same this thing with African, sky always beats its limit because of his mental alert, they think differently. You could see sometimes when we go there, that's what we need to teach here. When we go there, we join them, we do like them. When we come here and join ourselves, if the French team that won the last World Cup and played in the last final, if they were to be one African team, they can't win that World Cup. It's not possible. The same people. I doubt. Mentality. For example, in 1994, Nigeria assembled one of the best teams. Not the best individual players that ever played for Nigeria, no. The best team, organized, the best team, not the best individuals. The World Cup in 1994 belongs to Nigeria. I was here watching. I said, this cup belongs to Nigeria. If you watch the way Nigerians were playing then, but the Nigerians never realized, those who were playing never realized the cup belongs to them. So the first time in the World Cup, first time qualified for the World Cup, they got to their group stage, got to this next round of the competition. Most of them probably felt mission accomplished and so on. Never knew that the cup belongs to them. No team had wanted to play against Nigeria because it was a firebrand. The moment they crossed the center circle, fire, sprint, and so on. So, but at the end, it's only Morocco that tried the other time again. So, that is it. No, it's only the spectators have a different kind of mind when it comes to football. But the players themselves, the moment the final whistle blows, that is the end. Nobody's enemy to each other. Because I'm not your enemy does not mean I don't have to leave you to go and score me. Nobody's enemy. So we were very close during that Nations Cup. Very, very close. All of us. We worked as a team. We worked as brothers and brothers. We worked as the best of friends. You understand me? So there's no enmity. It's the spectators, the fans, that are seeing it differently. But in football, don't you see boxers after winning, he goes to tap the other one. You see them in the next. In fact, even when we were playing against IICC then, Bendel Insurance, immediately after that game, if we played in Ibadan, some of them from Ibadan that are closer to those in Rangers, they will come and pick the Rangers players to go to somewhere to have a drink. The same thing in Bendel Insurance, the same thing in Graka Rovers, the same thing everywhere, the same thing in stationery stores. We are only fighting to win on the pitch. But after the game, we go and drink together and become friends. No, right from the preparation, right from the first whistle, right from the first match, group match, all we had in mind was to win the Nations Cup. We never had in mind of whether if we lose, what of if we lose. There was no such a thing. Every attention, every thinking of each of the players, we are focusing towards winning the Nations Cup. So we had the mind. It may not come out, but all our mind was to do it, and we did it. So you don't just go and have two minds. It's better you take a decision than not taking any decision. It's better you take a wrong decision than not taking any decision at all. So we had in mind, there was nothing you can tell us other than to win the Nations Cup. At the end, you might not have won, but again, what you wish yourself is what you get sometimes. But not when you wish yourself and you relax. You wish yourself, you fight for it. With the determination, the zeal, and the will to win is always very important. What changed was we changed our strategy. Not the formation, not the system. But when you have system you're playing or formation you're playing, you must apply strategy in each formation. The only thing we did was we changed strategy based on what we noticed on our guy. For example, we played the first match. When my opinion was sick, when my opinion was sick about somebody to play in the midfield, there was a particular player I had wanted him to be playing. At the end, one other player was playing there. There are two players even, not one. So it happened that during our last group match against Ethiopia, those two players happened to be in the midfield, Onaze and Demba. I was a midfielder, and my constituency is midfield. Do you understand me? So those two players. But I realized one thing too, again, after that. After we played the Ethiopians, we won that game 2-0, 2 penalties, but they were all clear penalties. But I felt we didn't overwhelm. The game was just like there. Maybe we had 55, they had 45. Or we had 57, they had 43. The game was just there. So after that match, we won 2-0. Inside the pitch there, as we were jubilating that we have qualified to the next stage of the competition, which was quarterfinal. We are still inside the field. I called some of the coaches. The only person I did not talk to was Keshi. I told Keshi, I told those players, I said, we are playing Ivory Coast. What we need to do is to change our strategy if we have to beat Ivory Coast. They agree with me. I talked to each of them, about 3 of them, they agree with me. Then one of them asked, how do we then manage to say it? I said, we are going home. And when we go home, we are going to have a dinner. So when we get home to have a dinner, all you need to do, one of you has to start the conversation. Then I will come in. And they did so. So after the dinner, one of them started the conversation. Then I came in. I said, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to do this, we have to do that. He asked me why. I said, because our guys need space to play. So let us play what we call bold marking, conservative, then open up for us to see. And there's one thing again that happened. Initially, when we started, before we started, we discussed as coaches. Then Emmanuel Emenike, they liked, Emmanuel Emenike was playing center forward. Then I was always saying that Emmanuel Emenike has to play from the right, from us, not center forward. That he's not very good at center forward. We played the first match, Emmanuel Emenike was the attacker. We played the second match, was the attacker. We played the third match, he played from the wing. By the time we ended the competition, when he was moved to the right, he became the highest goal scorer. That was when Nigeria knew him. The first two matches, nobody. That was when they saw that he was a powerhouse, that he has speed, that he has agility, that he's very robust. So these are the things. Then we changed strategy. At the end, Stephen Keshi, who was then our boss. Then, because why Onaze played that day, not Mba, but why Onaze played that day against Ethiopia was that the other guy got 2 yellow cards, so he couldn't play. So Onaze played. So after we have agreed on this new strategy that we were supposed to adapt, and I said we have the next 3 training sections, that is only what we are going to practice. So, but before then, Keshina asks, after we have agreed on the strategy, and I made mention, I said, you cannot notice where you are doing that on the game. I said it. You cannot notice Droba on the game that day. The other is one Jevinho plays Arsenal. You can't notice it. They asked me why. I said, because you can predict their game. The only man you will see trying to do something, then they will bring Kalou. And Keshi asked me why Kalou. I said, because Kalou, you cannot predict his game. Whether there's space or no space, he will find a way to wriggle himself out. And all those things came to pass. I was not prophesizing. It was the ability to be able to read the opponents. So then Keshi said, who and whom is going to start? We knew where we have problem is that place, that Onaze and one other guy. Then some of us also said, okay, let the other guy come in and play. So Onaze has to stay out. Then I refused to say anything. This one suggested, the other one suggested, and the other one suggested, and I kept quiet. And at a point in time, Keshi asked me, what is your opinion? I said, no, let's take what they said, let's not, let's bring in the other guy back again. No problem. That Keshi said, no. Tell me your opinion. What is your own opinion? I said, well, my opinion has remained the same that Onaze has to play, that he's a better player. He asked me why. I said, because when we are building the attack from the rear, the other guy hardly show himself to follow to build it. He'll be dodging. And when we go for attack and we lose position of that ball, if the opponent is about 10 meters away from him, he hardly pursue them, or 15 meters. But the other one is better. He joined to build the attack. He joined to build the other one. But he has only one problem. I was always with him and Mba, with my practical demonstration board, talking to them. Then I called Mikel and just talked to him. But I'm always with Mba, and because Mikel was good, he knows what, I just mean. So then Keshi said, what is my opinion? I said, I would like Onaze to come back to play. Then Keshi looked and said, gentlemen, in football, one of the things we say in football is that you don't change a winning team. And this is the first time we won a game in this competition. Not only that we won by 2-0, so let's continue with them. And every one of us knows that that is the language in football. That was the language in football. So nobody argued. So we went back and we had the training, first training, second, I came, not enough. We had the second one, we said, the game now is just like that. Then we had the third training, we came and discussed again. I said, it's 50-50 game. But if there's anything that will have edge, it's Nigeria. And I said, by the time this game finished, the Ivorians will be thinking that this game has not been played. But do you know the irony of these things? When we came, the day of the game, when we were coming from our hotel, they were in a different hotel. When we were coming, we met in a junction in South Africa. And when we met, if you see the press that followed them front and back, child, you will just mercy for us. We look like just hey, nobody was following us. If you see press, about 5-10 cars with press, with different pressmen, both in the front and the back, following them to the competition, because they had a lot of big. Nobody can imagine playing them now. So you just sorry for us. So when we got to the field, I was the one who normally watched the players up. I warmed them up. After warming them up, went in to redress and come out. When I went in, I said, Keshi, our boys are ready for this game. He said, what do you mean? I said, they are ready for this game. He said, what do I say? That's the only one I can see. It will happen today. 2-1. Well, we were better in that game. By the time we played, what do you call them? By the time we play Mali, we have the players have mastered the game, the strategy more. 4-1. Burkina Faso, because we were in the same place, we played with them, they know us, we stayed in the same hotel. 1-0. So we changed strategy. That was all. Yes, we have. When we started with Kesh, one thing we did, that we decided we were going to have home base team. And for us to have the home base team, we need to train them, we need to teach them, we need to coach them. And we had them. Because we had them in mind for using them, especially during the qualifiers. That qualifiers means that when these people are coming from Europe, sometimes it's very cold there, very hot here. Because I played now, before I was also invited. I knew how I felt, even if I was born here, born and bred here. I was born here before I went to Europe. I still have some slight problem for acclimatizing. And you don't have many days. You have only 2, 3, 4 days. You play your game and go back. So we decided to have home base. And for us to have home base, we have to train them to bring them up to the standard of those playing in Europe, so that they can be able to measure up. And that was exactly what we did. And when we assembled them, we took them on the friendly matches. There's A matches. We started with about D matches, C matches, B matches, then A matches with them. We traveled up to playing went to Peru to play Peru national team. And we lost 2-1 there. So we built them up. So by the time the abroad based come, we are not inviting all based, because we have already. And during the qualifier, some of the home based boys we train, sometimes they were 5 on the pitch playing. The abroad base will be 6. Sometimes they are 4. The abroad base will be 7. So we make them up. You understand me? So because you don't have time, the only time you have time to look at the abroad base and so on and build up is when you have time. When that window, as you're going for the Nations Cup, you have 1 month window, which is allowed by FIFA, or World Cup, 1 month for you to go together and train together. Then you have long time to train. So that is what we need to do to be able to bring the home base. So if these coaches can do it now, they will have some home base players playing with the pop. When you invite, you cannot because but for now, there's no way we are going for the Nations Cup. There's no way you can have any home base player that will join. It will be very difficult for him to measure when you have not trained them, coached him, and taught him what he needed to do. So that's the only thing I want to say here.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.